Hey, good morning. Good morning, Vicky. Glad you're here. Glad you made it. Hope, uh, I hope things are well and that's a good day. That is great. I'm dentist Tuesday. Well, that's not so great. Unexpected guest. That's nice. Hey, Bob Guinan. Good morning to you. I hope you're well, my friend. We are getting closer to the dedication of the wall. Looking forward to that. Good morning, John. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Got my cup of joy this morning, made from fresh squeezed joys. Good morning, Robin. Did they find your donkey yet? There is a donkey on the loose in Robin's neighborhood somewhere. It was reported in the paper, and everyone thinks Robin has donkey napped it because she desperately wants a donkey. So, uh, you know, I couldn't make this up, so I'm not. Good morning, Linda. Glad you're here. Have your dentist show up as an unexpected guest. Now, yeah, now we're in bad territory. Save the joy. Oh, they're delicious. Uh, Good morning, Bonnie. Thank you so much for all your work last night, Bonnie. We had a great gathering last night, and we talked about the what I think are the 10 principal spiritual disciplines, the 10 ways of staying in connection with God that we've been given. And so we're going to get that talk up actually on SoundCloud today. So if you want to hear that, it's about 50 minutes or so. So be prepared for that. But we'll get that together and up here soon. But really, Bonnie did all the logistics and on all the RE folks did such a great job. And so very grateful for that. It was last night was a little meteor, I think meteor, not meteor like beep, like a little more steaky than fluffy in terms of our eating, and it was a great, but I think it was a worthwhile endeavor. So I hope folks got goodness out of it. So good morning, everybody. Oh, don't stop, Robin. For whatever you do, don't stop. My dentist is actually a hoot. That is good because dentists, you never know, like in terms of how that's going to go. Good morning, Yvette. Glad you're here. Good morning, Donna. Glad you made it. It's so good you're here. Glad everybody is making their way here. Give it one more. I see a few more folks popping their way in, so we'll give it one more minute and get going this morning. Just found out my friend in Canada has been watching you. Good grief, we've gone international. We're actually been international for a while. Rosalia's been with us for a long time. If you see Rosalia, she is. I think she's in Venice. Is that true, Rosalia? Tell me if that's true. But she's been with us and been a part of our community for months and months now. So, and it's been such a joy to have her with us. I'm always super encouraged when I see her listen. I think she catches it a little later in the day sometimes, but she always gives us a prayer or a hello. So I hope you will today too. Good morning, Deb. Yes, last night's fellowship was wonderful. And thank you. Good morning. Hey, John. John and Kathy Guthrow. Hey, great. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Welcome from Canada. I hope you are well up there. And Vicky, oh, great. It'll be wonderful to see you. I'm so glad you're. I know it has been a season for you for sure. So glad you're here. Yes. If others with you are others here are just checking in, please do say hi as well. Halifax, Nova Scotia. Oh, I love Halifax. It's one of my more favorite cities. The Busker Festival is on my bucket list. I've been into I spent a lot of time in Maine, grew up in Maine and all that, and would actually fished out of Nova Scotia for a little bit, and so loved Halifax. Such a fun town. Always treated me well. So, Manny Faye Davis, everybody, welcome, welcome. Yes, we're all fans. someday I'll have to actually. I need to tell you the whole my Nova Scotia story, but that's not for today. But actually, we'll tell it today. Why not? So it's brief. But I first got there, I was fishing and kind of meeting some of the folks. It's this little tiny town, kind of south of Halifax, and the one of the local guys was taking me around. And he drove down the street and he looked at. He says, "See that house?" He says, "Yeah, that's." I says, "Okay." He says, "Yeah." He says, "Well, you know who lives there?" He says, "No." He says, "It's so." He says, "Well," that's Dougal McDuncan's house." I said, "Okay, well, that's nice. I'm sure Dougal McDuncan's." Had no idea what he was up to. He says, "Yeah, that's Dougal McDuncan's house. You see that house down there, down the street?" And he says, "Yeah." He says, "That's Duncan McDougal's house." And I says, "You're kidding." But he drove me by like the mailboxes, Duncan and McDougal, like Duncan McDougal and Dougal McDuncan. That was my introduction to Nova Scotia, and it was a great time. It was a good time to be there. So anyway, that's my Nova Scotia story. And so welcome everybody. Here we are. It is this day, this Thursday, this 29th day of April, on another 11/11. So glad that each one of you are with us, whether you're here with us live right now, and you're part of our chat and our joy that's going on, or whether you are catching us later in the day. I hope you know that you are a part of this community, and that I and so many others here are with you and praying for you, and have our arms around you in these days. So I hope that you know that, and not just as a like you heard my voice come to you through electrons, but I hope you know it. I hope you know it. I hope it can be something that you carry with you in these days. I hope it can bring you some peace, because that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Is that this little line from John, which gets often quoted, but I think is often this somehow this kind of litmus test or performance test of the Christian walk. And I want to try and break us loose from that a little bit today, maybe shake us out of that. And it's this from the 14th chapter of John. It says, Jesus's instruction to say, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid." Let not your heart be troubled, neither not let it be afraid. One of my very favorite saints of all time is Sister Julian of Norwich. We in the Congregational Way aren't necessarily big on saints, but who cares? Sister Julian is an incredible teacher and example. If you've never read any Julian, go sell all you own and go. So she's this medieval mystic. She is considered a wise woman in the convent, and as the weirdest of disciplines would happen in the Middle Ages, that they were trying to figure out different ways to connect with God, and different ways that people might work in disciplining their lives in order to be able to channel and bring that wisdom to the world as a way of service. And so there were all manner of interesting things done, 1,000 or so years ago around this. And one of them was to become a Taurus. Which was what Sister Julian was, is that she was essentially walled in to a small tower. And when I say walled in, it's that they built a tower and she went in, and then they bricked up the door. And there was a little hole in which she could receive food, and people would come and talk with her. But the rest of her life, or a good portion of her life then, at that point, from then on, was spent within the small confines of her cell. Imagine it. But it was this that brought her desire to connect with God. And from her great kind of sacrifice of all of the things of the world, came incredible wisdom and incredible beauty in that wisdom, in her words and her telling of it. But her most famous of quotes is this, and it's what we want to talk about. And it's what John was driving at as he quotes Jesus. It is these words, and they seem simple, but I want to try and unpack this a little bit this morning. All shall be well, she says. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well again. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well again. We find ourselves in this, I think, often these days in the sense of that nothing's right or nothing's well, or maybe we're getting through well, maybe we're getting through great, maybe we're getting through well, maybe we're doing awesome in our days, maybe we are incredibly challenged. Wherever we find ourselves, there is this, I think there continues to be this sense of that things aren't quite well. And it's this notion of being and we think about it like Jesus leaving us his peace. I leave with you my peace. And we somehow seem to be so conditional around this. Do I have peace if my physical safety, if my material safety, if my if this goes okay or that goes okay? That if my story is one pointing me toward glory, then I must be okay and I must be faithful, right? Don't we do this to ourselves? Like somehow there's something wrong with us if things aren't going well. But what Julian is pointing at, and what I think Jesus is pointing at in John, is this notion that it's not saying that life's going to be perfect and comfortable. She was in a bricked up tower room. She spent her life there. Comfortable, perfect. What she's describing, and I hope you can hear this, and I think this is what Jesus is describing, because what happens when Jesus comes into the world is that the world changes. What happens when Jesus comes into our world is the world changes. It's not that I've said this many times, but we need to keep coming back to it because it's such a part of our culture, and we're so locked in it that we're going to be better and better, and things are going to be improved, and things are going to be made, a little shinier and a little more sparkle to them, and they'll go a little faster, and maybe they'll stop a little quicker, and all the different components and parts. But that's not really it. That it's this deep and abiding sense that things are different and new. And the deep down design and rightness of creation itself. That is that on no matter what storm rages across the ocean, there is an ocean floor on which it rests that is immovable and unchanging. We can see rightness in our life and all the good things that might come and happen, all the hopeful things of our future. We can see the wrongness of our life and the brokenness and the difficulties and the grief. And all of that is what Julian is telling us, is all of that is swirling on top of the ocean. And at the base of it, all is well. And it's that we're called to tap into. It's that we're called to drill into. And it's not this, if I have more faith, if I pray better, if I do these things. And again, I just spent last night talking about the disciplines and the of the church and the disciplines of faith. But the disciplines of faith, again, aren't there to make us brighter and shinier and happier and faster and more pretty in the image of God. They're not there for that. They are there to open us to connection to the reality that already is. The mystic Eckhart Tolle says it this way. He says, Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. Think about that for a moment. Whatever the present moment it contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. I think one of the core pieces of the disciplines of our life is simply to help us accept the storms that are raging, so that we may know the storms only rage, the waves only crash over the top of a seafloor that holds us and contains even all the ocean and all of its tears and all of its griefs. What John in his gospel, and in quoting the words of Jesus, "My peace I give to you," is not a conditional statement. Even sometimes it's hard to find. I know sometimes it's hard to find for me. I'm not saying we should, that what I'm trying to invite you to is beyond that kind of happy clappy, like, just pray harder kind of moment. Just pray harder. Just pray harder. It'll be okay. Like, to get us beyond this notion and to begin to live into the reality that all of our sorrows, all of our griefs, all of our struggles, all of our wonders, all of our joys, all of our roses, all of our bouquets, all of them are contained within the love of Christ Jesus for us. And when we can live into that, there is a point where all is well. Even when those we love are afflicted, even when we are afflicted, even when our world is falling apart, there is a rightness and an order and a goodness to it all. In our fellowship hall downstairs, there's this sign that it says, "It is well with my soul." And it is this quote from this great hymn. It's a hymn written by a guy by the name of Horatio Spafford. And Spafford was a successful lawyer and attorney in Chicago. And in 1871, the Chicago fire hits, and the cow, Mrs. O'Leary's cow, kicks over the lantern, and all of his fortune is lost. And at the same time, in Chicago, the scarlet fever comes and hits, and his 4-year-old son dies. At this point, Spofford is just beside himself, and he decides we all just need a break. And so he sends his wife and his 4 daughters to England, and he's going to catch up with them later to go on vacation. They say we need to get out of America, we need to travel. However, in the middle of the Atlantic, the ship that were carrying his wife and his 4 daughters collides in another ship, and it sunk rapidly. All 4 of his daughters are lost. His wife is rescued and is and the word of the ship sinking had gotten back to Spofford, but no word of his wife yet or his children. And she, however, is rescued and sends him a telegram, which is the first words of what happens to his family. And the telegram simply reads this: "Saved, alone. What shall I do?" Spofford immediately sets sail for England, and he heads towards to reunite with his wife and to be there with her in her grief and his grief, having now lost 5 children and all of his fortune. And the captain of the ship, knowing something about his story and why he was traveling, called him to the bridge at the hour in the moment and the place where that ship had collided with another that was carrying his daughters and his wife, and where his 4 beloved daughters were lost to the sea. And he says this, and the captain tells him, This is the spot in which your family was lost and the shipwreck occurred. And Spofford thought about his daughters, and he had this moment, in this divine download, this knowing that came over him, and these words came to him at this time, at this moment, as he's staring at the sea that had swallowed up his family. And he says, "When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to know. It is well with my soul." Friends, it is well with your soul today. You didn't make your soul. You cannot break your soul. Your soul is not made of things of this world. It was not conceived from things of this world. It cannot be attended to, nor broken, nor pained, nor penetrated, nor pierced by the things of this world, by even the events of this world, by the greatest of griefs and the gloriousest of wonders. It cannot and will not be bent, folded, spindled, or mutilated in any way. It is well with your soul, because it is a gift from the God who made you. And it is held in the palm of God's hand as the treasure of creation. This reality is what Jesus is pointing to in John. It is what Julian in her little cell is telling us again and again and again for 1,000 years, when she says, "It is well, all shall be well, all manner of things shall be well, all shall be well again." Because being well is beyond my being and your being, the right doing and the wrong doing of the world. It is a peace that truly, in the words of Paul, surpasses all understanding. And that we're invited into that place every morning. We're invited into that place every day. We're invited into that place every second to live there. To live in this profound knowing that there's no storm, no chaos, no brokenness that can take away the love and the power and the reality of the wellness of our soul. So I'm a little froggy this morning, but I am going to try and sing you out this morning on this Thursday. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It's well with your soul, friends. It is well with your soul. It is my hope that on this day you can rest in the knowledge that all shall be well. You can rest in the peace of Christ Jesus. You can rest in the knowing that you didn't make your soul, you cannot break your soul, and that beyond your heartbreaks and your broken minds and your withering bodies, of which we all have, there is a rightness and a truth and a goodness and a strength in the soul in which inhabits you, given to you by the one who made you, to hold your true and glorious being of being a Christian, being, in the true meaning of that word, a little Christ. Let's go forward today and be little Christ to each other. All right, friends, that's my hope for us this week. I think I hope that you in your journeying and your life and your love will find your way to some peace in this day. This we have again. If you're interested in our little talk about the 10 things of the 10 disciplines, that is kind of 30,000 foot overview of the disciplines. That'll be coming up on the Facebook page here sometime today, and it'll be on our SoundCloud podcast. Also, we will be worshiping. We'll be taking communion on Sunday here, 282 Rock Street. Hope you can make a trip to Fall River someday and worship with us. And in all of that, it is my hope that you truly do know it is well with your soul, and that all is well. All manner of things shall be well, and all shall be well again. Peace and grace, my friends.